Rana Daggubati is joining us on ET now, and it's great to have you with us, Rana.
Thank
You
you.
know what many people over here in Mumbai are perhaps not as aware about is your family's legacy in film production with Rama Naidu Studios, and of course your own personal interest in visual effects. But before we get down to any of that, Rana, firstly about your wedding bells, they're ringing. So congratulations in order.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been a while. I'm glad to connect, but I wish there were better times.
Yes.
I'm just wondering at the outset, Rana, how the lockdown has impacted the studio business. There were news floating around that your dad, Suresh Babu, is planning to turn Ramanaidu Studios into a gated community and concentrate on your new studio in Visakhapatnam. What's the truth to that? Because right now I'm thinking that a lot of Bollywood actually wants to shoot in the south because that's where the facilities are up and running.
What is gated community? Whoever told you that?
I don't know. There is this buzz that is going around. A gated community is a residential complex.
No. That's rubbish.
No.
Complete rubbish. First, the studio properties are built to be studio properties, and that's how they will remain for as long as the company continues to be. We've been running the company now for 50 years. I don't think anything is going to change now. Yeah, it is a very different time. It is a very challenging time, more so when we start going forward and doing things. The idea is, obviously now cinema is taking the biggest beating in terms of theatrical business. Now that'll be a while before it gets back on its feet, and everyone's doing all the right things that are possible for that. But the growth on content and the amount of content people start consuming has gone like triple or quadruple the time since everybody's been in lockdown. So all of us don't have enough to watch, though it's on, whether it's on Netflix, Disney, whatever it is, right? We always run out of things to watch. And that we're going to see a huge rise in terms of how much OTT content is going to be. And coming to the studio business, the studio is always a liaison for content and films to be produced. And now, earlier, the studios have always behaved because we've been a production house where a large part of the studio used to be our film work, and then there was very little of customer support in terms of clients coming in. But now with the scale of how things are growing, we have a second studio. Now we have a third studio that's under construction. And we really want to equip for building as much. And Hyderabad as a city itself is very convenient to shoot. First, like in California, it's got flat light most of the month, so everybody's shooting outdoor. That's pretty simple. There's enough land that's accessible very, very close to cities. So if anybody is trying to create big sets, there's studio properties that are gated, whether it's ours, Annapurna, whether it's Ramoji. There's enough and more infrastructure that's available in Hyderabad already. We're trying to scale that up in different states as well. And now with this current situation, we just understand that locking an entire unit together for one shot and getting a project done is probably the ideal way of how things should go. So everyone's kind of quarantined for a certain amount of time. Whether if the studio becomes that, then it's like one big happy family going and completing a project in one shot. So the studio kind of is providing everything for that. Films of all scales, because right from Bahubali to films that have budgets of 1 crore, crore and a half actually release in Telugu. So the idea is just equipping ourselves to make big cinema. And the more you go with spectacle cinema, the bigger and bigger they get, the more and more they come back into studios to get them made. So I think it's going to be a big rise for the studios and the others once things get back into operation, because the theatrical business will want only big spectacle films or big star films once things open back up, because they want to celebrate every weekend. That is going to be very, very precious for them. The OTT will want constant content, and you want to keep it in control. The studio is the only way you actually do it. And post this COVID situation, we also realized that there are a lot of properties that used to earlier rent out, that were personal spaces, that the studios or the productions won't have access to anymore, because you don't want constantly people coming into personal spaces. So I think all of that will start moving more and more into studios. So that's pretty much it. In this lockdown, we've just been building teams, building infrastructure, and yeah, just getting ready to shoot. That's it.